Yo, we are back. Welcome to episode 2 of McCoy and Van Noy, presented by Toyota, official automotive partner of the NFL. I am one half of your gracious host, none other than Gerald McCoy, the 93rd wonder of the world, big chest from the Midwest, the one that never fails. I only thrive because I'm from the south side of the 405. And my gracious co-host is...
Kyle Van Noy. And I don't have this huge, nice rap flowing kind of introduction.
Tell 'em
I'm
what you
just
do,
Kyle
Killer.
Van Noy, 2-time Super Bowl champ, currently playing for the Ravens. That's all I got.
Hey, so today we got a lot of great stuff to talk about. We got to sit down with Quinnen Williams talking everything Jets. We got in-division trades. Is it disrespectful? Dave Canales, was you listening to Gerald? Are we going to talk about Bryce Young actually playing some football this preseason? There was a crazy ending to the 49ers and the Las Vegas Raiders. There's a lot to discuss, and we're going to get to it. Also, fans, we enjoy your questions. We're going to get to those too. But before we do that, Kyle has something very important he wants to talk about, so I'm going to let him take it away. Take it away, Killer.
I appreciate it, G. Well, news broke over the last couple days that Joe Delisandris, the O-line coach of the Ravens, passed away. We call him Joe D. And I just wanted to kind of give you a little story about him and just say my condolences to his 3 daughters and the Ravens nation, especially those that are in the building that were really close to him. Joe D. So give you a quick story about Joe D real quick. He was the O-line coach, and so I was able to go against his guys a lot. And over this last year, I got to know him a lot better. And he kind of came up to me and told me a secret that he always admired my game because I played for New England, and Ravens and New England, they hate each other. And he was very complimentary of my game. But what was more complimentary that he came up to me and said was the man that I am. He said he's watched me for a while of how I held myself, and I was able to return the favor after a whole year of being with him. A couple weeks ago, I was able to say how grateful I am as the man he was. He was a man of God, a man of great faith, and he was kind of the grandpa. He had that grandpa energy, that grandpa vibe, and I just wanted to say we love Joe D, and condolences to his family. And, this year is going to be dedicated to him and Jacoby Jones. We've had a lot of people pass away with the Ravens this year. And, we're going to play for those 2 this year. We love Joe D. And, I'm just grateful I had the chance to get to know him and the man he is. He's a man of integrity, and just appreciative of him, just being so nice and kind to me, and just being a good teacher. The way he taught the O-line, the way he was in the building, he loved everybody. He just gave off that grandpa vibes, and, rest in peace, Joe D. And, we're going to try to do everything we can to make sure that you're looking down proud on us this year. So I just wanted to say thank you for letting me have the floor, GC. And, this episode, we're going to have great vibes, and know that he's going to be watching, listening to us going over our big news in this whole show. Excited.
Thank you for that, Killer. Prayers and blessings go out to his family, anybody affected by this, Ravens Nation. And I'm sure you guys are going to do him proud. I personally have you guys winning that division and vying for a Super Bowl. So if any year is the year, this would be the year. So prayers and blessings to you, Killer, all of the Ravens players, all the Ravens organization, and him and his family. So God bless all y'all. Now, the Eagles and Commanders made a crazy trade. You rarely see guys get traded within the division.
Have you ever been on a team with one that's happened?
No, not a trade.
Yeah, I haven't either.
No, not a trade at all. Where you trade within the division, you help another division team get better. They traded Jahan Dotson. The Commanders traded Jahan Dotson to the Eagles. And the question is it disrespectful? So when we talk about disrespect, is it disrespectful to the Eagles, like, oh, y'all can have him, we're not really afraid
I
of
think
that.
it's
If it's
disrespectful to the player,
to him,
It's
like,
got to be
you
disrespectful.
can go over there, whatever. You ain't,
Yeah,
go
we
over
ain't
there.
worried about you.
We ain't worried about you
That's
helping
kind of
them.
the feeling.
Yeah, and when we first posed this question, I said, I mean, what's disrespectful about it? You just helped the other team get better. Then, like you just said, I thought about it and said, no, forget the team. It's disrespectful to him. Like, we don't believe you good enough to go over there. First off, we trading you. That's one thing.
And then on top of that, GC, he was a first round pick.
Exactly. So we don't think we trading you, one, and two, we don't think like you going to them is helping them that much to where we're afraid. So yes, if I have to answer, yes, it is disrespectful to the player. How you feel, Killer?
I mean, I do too, and I get it. It's a new regime. Adam Peters, the GM, taking over for the Commanders. He wasn't in the regime of drafting Dotson first round, so he probably feels, that he's not worth being on my football team with where they're going. I just think he was like, and Cliff Kingsbury. I think everybody was involved in that and was ready to move on, and I just think it's low-key disrespectful. I don't even think it's low-key. I think it's high-key.
It is.
Because if you trade within a division, you're basically saying, like, you're not good enough to be on our team. Like, you can go over there. We're not worried about you.
You know how I know is looked at as disrespectful to the players? Because I wasn't traded to the Carolina Panthers. I chose to play for them, and it caused, golly, it was an avalanche of hate that came my way. Because it was like, you mean to tell me you go over there? You haven't heard that with him. Like, the Bucs fans hated me until they understood why I did what I did. It had nothing to do with the Bucs. It was more of a family decision. I wanted to stay close to my family. I could get back home to my family. And I actually lost money by going to the Carolina Panthers. Like, I lost money leaving the Bucs. I lost money by not choosing the Baltimore Ravens or other teams that offered more. So when people are like, oh, he was so angry that he wanted to go to the Carolina Panthers to get back at the Bucs. Nah, it's not that important that I take less money to go play football. It was about my family. But I know when we talk about the level of how they feel about about a player, by trading him there, they was upset that I chose to go there. But they would never have traded me there to have to deal with me. So for them to trade him there, they like, we ain't worried about that.
Yeah. And I don't think fans really got an uproar either. I also think of the Saquon Barkley. I know free agency, that's totally different, but there was like an uproar. I think more people were kind of confused. Like, why are you trading him within the division versus like, I can't believe you would do that type of deal. So I thought it was disrespectful.
It's a lot of dysfunction in the NFC East.
To the player. Like the player, they're basically saying he's not good enough.
Yeah, the NFC East is really dysfunctional right now. I hope he has a
good year, though.
They trading, all these teams trading within the division. Dallas don't know who they want to play quarterback or if they want a good receiver. That place is dysfunctional right now. The NFC East, man, y'all need to get together. But we had one episode of McCoy and Van Noy. Just one. And it was a really good one. It was a really good one. So good that we made a few headlines. And one half of the gracious host of McCoy and Van Noy made a statement last week. And he said, I don't understand why Bryce Young hasn't played football yet. You know why? Because in order to get better at football, or for us to know if you've improved at football, you have to play. And lo and behold, who played football? Bryce Young. And not only did he play football, he played really well. He was balling. Let me see. What did Bryce Young have? 6 of 8, 70 yards and a touchdown. Ran the drive to perfection. See, this is what I'm saying. That's all we asked. Yeah. It wasn't that Bryce Young sucks. Bryce Young won't be good. I said Dave Canales was the perfect coach for him because I watched what he did with Baker Mayfield. But how do we know? Unless he's playing. I know they don't owe us nothing as fans. Their fans, the Carolina Panthers, y'all owe them a little something because they are spending their money. But we don't know if he's improving. Killer,
They sold the house for him.
Killer, that's what I'm saying. There's a difference in being in practice and being in the real game. You know it. So we needed to see, you tell me they were going to go into the regular season with no regular game speed, no regular game plays, and they were going to say, oh, he's going to be our guy moving forward. But now we've seen it. Okay, now the fans have something to look forward to. Now us as the media can say, he has improved. Dave Canales is making a difference. That's all I was asking. That's it.
Yeah, I think you can see Canales is already his leadership with Bryce Young just by the way he calls games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the offensive line looked a lot better. They got Bryce Young out on the move. But what I was impressed with just in the short time Bryce was in, just being in the pocket, standing in the pocket, especially that touchdown he delivered. The guy was pretty much open, but just being able to sit in the pocket and being comfortable knowing that the O-line and, the play call, all of that, it looks like Bryce is a lot more confident.
Thank you.
And I like
confidence.
that. I think that is what I saw from him is confidence, and that's what you want. I also think, too, there's that added pressure that C.J. Stroud has done so well, and he was second overall, and Bryce went first, and they traded up to get him. So I think there's a lot of pressure on Bryce, but from what I saw in that drive, I saw a lot of confidence, and I like that. I like that.
Yeah, for sure.
David Canales has really put that in him. I mean, Bryce is already confident. You go number one, you got to be a confident, and you play to Alabama, you're confident, but this is a different beast in the NFL, and I feel like after Bryce had a year that he had last year, he looked really confident.
Dave Canales is like the QB. He's becoming the QB whisperer. He's like
the guru.
He like, listen, if you need therapy and you want to shake back, come see me. Look at what he did with Geno Smith. No, seriously, what did he do with Geno Smith? Pro Bowl quarterback.
What do you think he does in those QB meetings,
I don't know, but
bro?
look, Geno Smith, Pro Bowl quarterback after dealing with Dave Canales. Baker Mayfield, Pro Bowl quarterback, almost won comeback player of the year. Bryce Young, who's already a Heisman Trophy winner, first overall pick. What do we have to look forward to? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
So
Dave
we
Canales,
need to be buying stock of the Panthers.
We need to be buying stock in Bryce Young. I'm not doing all that yet. No. We ain't doing all we ain't doing all that. I did not say that. I said the quarterback, him only.
All right.
Yeah. But if your quarterback is better, your team would be better. And it's a lot of craziness going on. Did you see the ending to the 49ers and the Raiders game?
Yeah. Before we even get there, I felt like that game was pretty fun to watch for a preseason game. A lot of back and forth.
Yeah.
It was touchdown here, touchdown there, turnover there, big run there, big kickoff return there. So it was a lot in that game. But the ending, I mean, what
49ers
what a way
Vegas
to finish
is like a historic
they
clash.
Almost scored.
Yeah, I know.
They almost scored.
So, question. So I know I used to see from the sidelines and walk through before games, in practice, in training camp, and during the season. During special teams, the D-line is either an individual or doing something or going through something. So we don't really get to see. But I know personally, I didn't do it, but I used to watch the special teams walk through and they used to practice. I know the offense used to practice end of games plays. They used to actually draw up plays to get out of bounds. And then they used to practice this every now and then, what we seen. Did you ever see your team practicing what they were doing? Is it something that the teams get in the games and they just, I was just going to throw it back, or did they practice it? I know teams I was on, they offense would actually practice what we seen the 49ers doing, like making sure you running behind, getting to a certain spot.
PTSD, bro. You gave me PTSD bringing this up. I was part of the New England team. I believe it was in 2018 of the Miami Miracle. They still love and hold dear to their hearts. Man. I was one of the players that missed the tackle on that. All I had to do was get Kenyon Drake on the ground, and I could have saved Gronk from the embarrassment of falling over himself. So I was part of that, and that one sucked. I've also been part of ones that we've been on the right side of it. But yes, teams do practice that. A lot of teams practice that situation, being on the offense. and trying to do whatever you can to get into the end zone, and on defense, what you should do, after the first pitch. I know I'm going to start saying previous employment. I don't always want to just talk about, New England or, the Ravens. I'm just going to say previous employment from here on out.
Got you.
But previous employment, they would tell us to, as soon as the quarterback would throw the ball to start, one of the D linemen to take the quarterback, because usually the quarterback can throw the ball the furthest and the best. So you want to take that away. I always thought that was a good and valid,
our backside
fair point.
Defensive end always did it. So if he threw across, the backside defensive end would get him and run with him, because at that point, there's no reason.
And play like man to man, like face guarding in basketball, where this guy ain't catching the ball. This guy ain't scoring the ball. He ain't even getting the ball. I'm face guarding. It's the same thing on defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the D-line was the first line of defense, because after he throws it, we're chasing. So the people who are coming behind, we're right there. So everybody has to pick up a man. Now, it don't matter who it is, but you got to pick up a man. Now, for the most part, you want to get the person who's furthest behind, because you got to throw the ball backwards. So you always want to pick that person up.
Also, you got to put your best athletes on there. Absolutely. I know at one place we had Matthew Slater on there. Some other places they put receivers on there, because they were fast. A lot of DBs on the field. So Nate Ebner and Matthew Slater were on the one in New England, because those were the special team aces. They're the ones that had to run through traffic and make plays all the time. So it made sense.
Yeah, last play of the game, we always used to bring in Mike Evans or, rest in peace, Vincent Jackson, or a player like that. Whether they want to take a shot at the end zone or they want to run this play, you bring in a guy that, that's what he does. He catches the football. Yeah. Big.
Another player we had too when I was in Detroit, previous employment Detroit, Calvin Johnson's out there catching picks. He's 6'5".
That's not fair.
Good luck trying to out-jump him.
Exactly. Yeah. Hall of Fame, Megatron. Hey, listen, we got a great interview coming up with Quinnen Williams, but before we do that, we're going to take a second to hear from our sponsors who keep our chains moving. McCoy and Van Noy, we'll be right back.
All right, we're back from break. We have an awesome interview coming up with Quinnen Williams, the D tackle for the Jets, right now. But before we do, we're going to get back into it and ask GC who his top 5 D tackles right now in the game. He doesn't need to go 1 through 5. I just need to know your top 5 right now.
Okay, my top 5. So when I do rankings, I do body of work.
Okay.
That's not recency bias, because some people might have had a great year last year and people immediately jumped them over other people who had really good years. And then prior to they had great years, but collectively over the last 5, they've been consistent. Okay. So
what about like an injury too?
Injuries, that goes into it. Just because you got injured, that don't take you out of the top 5. Okay.
All right.
You have to play bad for me to kick you out of the top 5. All right. So
I like
this is going to upset some people. It is. I don't care, because this is my top 5. All right. Here's my honorable mention though. I have an honorable mention. My honorable mention top 5. Justin Madubuike. Dominant defensive tackle from last year. I got to see it more than once. I hate
doing this. I hate being this person. It's Madubuike.
Madubuike. You're right. Madubuike. Yep. No, I'm glad that you're that person, because we want to
I don't want him to beat me up when he sees me at work.
We want to be correct on this show. But I love what he did last year. Had a Aaron Donald-like season. He said Aaron Donald's one of his favorite players, and he tries to model his game after him, kind of similar size. He's very explosive, great against the run, can rush the passer. I would love for him to be one of the next ones, but I got to see it more than once before I just throw him in the top 5. Is he in the top 10? I
respect that.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see what he can do. That defense is going to be incredible because of you, of course, and then him being in the middle. But also, Bucks, don't kill me. Do not kill me. My honorable mention is Vita Vea. I do not have him in my top 5, but he is in my top 10, my honorable mention. But Vita, dominant in the middle, pushes the pocket well. Just got to see a little bit more consistency from my guy before I put him in the top 5. Kenny Clark, been really good for that Packers team. In the middle, Pro Bowler, All-Pro. One of the big reasons why that defense is so good. Grady
just
Jarrett.
Got paid again.
Yes, Grady Jarrett in Atlanta. Always been a big fan of his. Was in the same division. Got to watch him up close. Grady Jarrett popped on the scene versus the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl. Had 3 sacks in the Super Bowl. And I believe had Atlanta pulled that out, he might have been the MVP because those 2 sacks were very timely at the end of the game. So Grady Jarrett, honorable mention. And last, honorable mention, Christian Wilkins was in Miami. Now he's with the Raiders. I believe he's going to give offenses a lot more problems to have to worry about than just Max Crosby. That tandem, I believe, is going to be really good this season. But Gerald's top 5 defensive tackles playing the game right now in no order, but the unquestioned number 1 to me is Chris Jones. Obviously, I honestly started to do a different 5 and leave him out because we all know who Chris Jones is. It's like you name top 5 D tackles when Aaron Donald was playing, and it's like, we got Aaron Donald 1, and then we got, clearly he's 1. So, but I left him in there. Another guy, about to see an interview from him, Quinnen Williams. I've been screaming this guy's name since he got drafted of how dominant he is and that the sky's the limit for him. Big body, long arms, plays with effort, can do everything on the field. Big fan of Quinnen Williams. You talked about injuries and why it doesn't take you out of the top 5. Jeffrey Simmons in Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
He can do it all.
He's a dog.
He is a dog. Jeffrey Simmons. I mentioned him on NFL Network of why we don't talk about Jeffrey Simmons. Good against the run, pushes the pocket, can beat you outside, beat you inside. Jeffrey Simmons can do it all. Excited to see what he can do moving forward. One of the vets in the league, DeForest Buckner. DeForest Buckner, dominant defensive tackle. He's actually a cheat code.
Yeah.
He's 7 feet tall. You know, like he's
still can't believe the Niners gave him away.
That's what I'm saying. It's ridiculous that they gave him away. But hey, it is what it is. DeForest Buckner gonna be a big part of why that team turns the corner. But that D-line, they gonna be dangerous. And lastly, my boy asked me to call him this, but I'm not gonna do it. But I guess I have to. What do they call him in New York? Sexy Dexy? Dexter Lawrence? Hey, listen, everybody else I named are 3 techniques. Most of them are 3 techniques. He's the only guy I got on my top 5 that is a nose guard. To do what he's able to do at the nose guard position, if you don't know football, you just know, oh, Dexter Lawrence is really good. No, Dexter Lawrence is dominant because he's doing it from the nose guard position. I remember Snacks Harrison, when he was there, he was a first-team All-Pro because he had 100 tackles as a nose guard. When you can dominate at the nose guard position, it makes your defense go to the next level. So Dexter Lawrence, DeForest Buckner, Jeffrey Simmons, Quinnen Williams, Chris Jones, Gerald McCoy's top 5 defensive tackles playing the game right now. And then my honorable mentions, you guys. Y'all right on the cusp of being in my top 5. But if you notice, I listed 10 names. Those are my top 10 defensive tackles in the league right now.
That's a good list. I like that list. It's hard to like say this one's here, this one's there. You did a really good job. You must have played D tackle. I played D tackle a little bit. I played D tackle, and the only reason I didn't list Cam Hayward is because Cam is a Hall of Famer in my book. I don't have to list him as a top 10. Cam's going to the Hall. Cam know I love him, so Cam ain't gonna take this personal. But Cam know he's the guy. He's like in that. When I almost didn't list Chris Jones, that's why I didn't list Cam Hayward. So all you Pittsburgh fans, of course Cam Hayward's in there, but I put him in a different realm. He's a Hall of Famer. These are guys that's, So here we go. Yeah, I like that. I'll do like a quick 5-ish. I got for me, Chris Jones 1, and then I'm really high on Jeffrey Simmons.
Yes.
I know he was injured last year, but his game wrecking game wrecking.
Yes.
And that's how I view somebody is I want to see when I turn on the film, I want to see game wrecking. And you don't even have to make the play.
Yes.
I just need you to
game
blow
wreckers.
Ish up. I need you to
just destroy stuff.
Destroy stuff.
That's what he does.
Exactly. Perfect. And he does that, not only in the run game, but the pass game. So I'm very high on Jeff Simmons. And then I'm going to, oh man, there's so many. Q's up there.
Yeah.
I know he doesn't have the sack numbers, but his game wrecking ability is up there with the best of them. Then got to go Sexy Dexy, Dexter Lawrence, or Dex Sexy. I don't know however he says it, but I do like his dancing moves after.
Yeah.
I think those are fun. And I appreciate that because I'm more of like a serious player, but I like when teammates or other players, celebrate. And I feel like he does a very, very good job. I've always admired that. And then last, I'm just going to throw a couple in that last spot. I got Justin in there, especially after what I've watched. Just in the pass rush, he is game wrecker.
Yeah.
I got Christian Wilkins in there.
Yep.
I played with him as well. Game wrecker, and has gotten better every year.
Absolutely.
And I think that hasn't been talked about enough, is that how he's gotten better. He's always been a very high energy in the run game, but now it's turned over to the pass, and I really appreciate him and his work ethic. And then you got to go Vita Vea in there.
Yeah,
I think
Vita's for sure in there. Yeah,
wrecking the stuff as well on pass and rush, and I think that's kind of my top right now.
Yeah,
and DeForest Buckner.
Yeah,
guy can't leave him without. I mean, Buddy's. He's a man-child out there. He literally
yeah,
he be throwing
for real
out of the way to the quarterback.
And how I did my list is, like I said, it's consistency. These are guys that have either been first team or second team All-Pro more than once over the last 5 years, Pro Bowl more than once over the last 5 years. These are all collectively how I've seen these guys and how they perform. But that's why I did the honorable mention, because when I do the honorable mention, you could take one of my guys out and put one of those guys in, and the list don't change.
For sure.
If we're listing 5, who cares? If you're top 10 at your position, you're a guy. So
you know what's awesome too is I love players and former players that do these because they never can do 5.
No, it's hard to just do 5 right there.
Yeah, because there's so many good players in the NFL. It's awesome. Yeah, I love that.
It's incredible. And speaking of really good players, I had a chance to sit down with a great one. And I don't believe that Quinnen Williams is one of the best D tackles, one of the best D linemen. I believe he's one of the best players in all of the NFL. As we've seen, he was voted in the top 100. He's an All-Pro. He's been a first-team All-Pro. That means you are two of the best.
One or two.
At your position across the entire NFL. That is extremely hard to do, but this guy has done it, and he's a big part of why this Jets defense has been so dominant.
Jets,
I had an opportunity to sit down with him. You guys enjoyed this interview. I enjoyed the interview. My interview and sit down with Quinnen Williams. Yo, I am here with one of the best players. Forget D-line, man. Forget all that other stuff. One of the best players in all of the NFL. 2-time Pro Bowler, 1-time first-team All-Pro, and one of the best players in the league, leader of one of the best defenses in all of football, my dog, Mr. Quinnen Williams. What is up?
Not much, man. Thank you for having me, man.
Of course, man. So I've been a big fan of yours for a long time. When you were coming out of Alabama, I loved your game then. But when you came into the league, I started to watch you play. And I used to tweet and say, why is nobody talking about that guy in New York? Why is nobody talking about him? Eventually, you got your just due. And now here we are. Y'all had a lot of ups and downs. I remember 2 years ago, I was on NFL Network. And I said, I'm going to go out on a limb. And I'm calling it now. The Jets are going to win 10 games. Well, y'all won 7. Yep. Everything didn't work out with Zach Wilson. You get Aaron Rodgers. He gets hurt. So now he's healthy. Y'all's defense is healthy. Y'all got a lot of great players on both sides of the ball. What are you looking forward to this season with having Aaron Rodgers healthy, Randy stays healthy, and everything you've been through? What are you looking for with this team moving forward?
Just winning a lot of football games, man. Like you said, especially me being here, man. I've been having a lot of ups and downs here, and this has been one of the most unbelievable off-season unbelievable years I had since being here. Like you got Tyron Smith is a Hall of Fame left tackle. You got Morgan Moses, a Pro Bowl caliber right tackle. You got guys in the back end like Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, Aaron Rodgers healthy this year. Brees Hall is a top 3 running back, man. You got the arguably the number 1 top 3 defense in the league, man. So the battles we have in training camp, pushing each other every single day, getting after it every single day, and just the camaraderie that we have on the same goal as winning football games and ultimately winning the Super Bowl has been high like no other. So I'm just super excited, man. I've been telling everybody like those practices have been hard, like back in the day when I was at Bama, man. So getting
Right.
iron sharpens iron, man, and just to learn from each other and work every single day has been unbelievable. So.
Yeah, and Aaron Rodgers, I'm a little biased. He's my favorite player in the NFL. But I was watching a YouTube show that the Jets have, and it was they did the offensive side of the ball, they did the defensive side of the ball. And one of the coaches said people go their entire careers and don't get to play with an Aaron Rodgers caliber player.
Mm-hmm.
What has that been like with him being in the building, competing against him in practice? I know y'all battling up front, but it's different when the guy operating the offense is running the show. When you have some plays, you have your double teams, you have all this, but time and snap counts, trying to stay on side, he's just a different breed. What has that been like having him on the team?
Oh, man, unbelievable, man. Like you said, having a Hall of Fame caliber player like he has, man, it was the same when I had Frank Gore here as well, man. But having a guy like him, man, has been unbelievable. You get so much experience, so much knowledge, and probably a 15-minute conversation with him that guys will pay millions and millions of dollars for that we can get for free, man. When you go out there, go against a caliber guy like him, the defensive back going against a Hall of Fame quarterback every single day, man, doing the necessary things in his route. And not a guy just going against him, but a guy who can elaborate and tell you things you need to work on, can tell you, hey, that's not how such and such did it. That's, hey, such and such get tighter. When I see you alignment switch your feet, I know you coming, so I can can it to go the opposite way. So just different stuff, man, that he has in his head, man, willing to show you and willing to tell you has been unbelievable, not just for me, myself, or not just for the defense, for the offense, but the whole team in general. So
with everything you're saying, you, I truly believe, are the leader of the defense with being the guy in the middle. I always feel like and always believe the identity of a team is set by the defensive line.
mm-hmm.
But individually, we all have to do our jobs. So me, who I consider you one of the best players in all of football, what has been your evolution from being a rookie until now? What are the things you've been working on?
Mm-hmm.
How has your game evolved over time? And what do you expect from yourself moving forward?
I just think the biggest thing that I always stay consistent with just evolving and learning, man. Never stop learning. Never stop soaking in information and soaking up information and different things like that. So I kind of stayed true to that, no matter how good I did, no matter how bad I was, no matter first team All-Pro, anything. Like I always take constructive criticism. I always learn. I always be a sponge to anybody who come across you. And I think that has gave me the unbelievable confidence on year in and out to be the player I am to now, because I didn't start off well as I wanted to do. And I just been evolving every single sense and just learning and just picking people's brains and just learning different things over time, that now that I feel like I came to the player that I am, I feel like I still have more growth and more things because guys out there are doing more. Like I was just explaining to you, like, man, I had a problem with just the cross chop, and I'm like, I'm looking at Aaron Donald cross, like he jumps off the ground, but like I'm trying to jump and I can't jump. And another guy said, hey man, you need to watch Jared McCoy film 2013. He's cross chop, he don't jump and he clears it every time. And I'm going day in and day out just watching Jared McCoy cross chop, watching Jared McCoy cross, just learning and learning and learning. So whenever I can be able to put that inside my game, I think I'll be eventually a better player in that. So that's the biggest thing that I just make sure I just never fall back on or never get complacent or never get too into myself, or just continue to learn no matter what. So,
and there's a lot of parallels between me and you. You always reminded me of myself with where you got drafted in the draft to even what you just said, and which leads me into my next question. You said things didn't start off how you wanted. Same with me. I got injured my rookie year, got injured my second year. So I had to find a way to find myself and figure out the type of player I was. So I did the same things you were doing, watching the guys who came before me, taking things from them. I had an opportunity for Sap to actually show me the cross chop and how to do it properly.
Yeah.
So in doing all of that, one thing that I love about you, which was the same thing with me, is family. Your family keeps you lifted. You're a huge family man.
Yeah, for sure.
You always posting your wife. See, you got a beautiful baby.
Yeah.
What has that been like with balancing both? Being a great player on the field and trying to be a great family man off the field?
I think I always hear people say family first, family first, family first. But when I had my first daughter, man, it really meant the world to me because I just feel like I was a better football player when I kept my family first. Like, cause you just like any people know, man, when you got good family around you, man, they hold you to a higher standard than anything. And when you teaching your family different stuff, like never quit, never be negative. Always have a strong mindset when it comes down to different things. It's like when you're on the field and stuff don't go your way or stuff get hard or the coach called a wrong play that you don't like or you leave a game without a sack or something like that, you always go back to those thoughts and stuff like, I'm a leader of my own family. I got to make sure I don't bend on what the stuff I teach at home. So it's just been unbelievable, man. And having a support system is amazing. So you got people who going to support you good or bad, ugly. Some people going to hold you accountable good or bad or ugly. So
final two questions, real quick questions. Tell me about this college color day. I see you got on the Alabama colors. I see you got on the crimson. You know, we believe OU, we believe we crimson, but if we got to compare, y'all been dominating. So I will concede. I will take a step back. I don't usually do that when it comes to my school, but I see you got on the crimson. Tell me a little bit about college color day.
Oh yeah, College Colors Day is a huge thing, man. It's the 20th anniversary of College Colors Days. It's a day that you get the chance to buy gear, man, from collegecolorsday.com and just represent your team, man. Represent every single day. I represent Alabama because they're just my team and the team I played for, and it helped me become the person who I am today in this career, man. So it's just a day you get to buy gear, man, and represent your team and just celebrate your team, no matter if it's football, basketball, any season. So
y'all go out and support College Color Day. All right, Q. I got one final question. I'm going to let you get out of here. Most D linemen have a favorite sack. I know what mine is. I already told you Aaron Rodgers is my favorite player. So my favorite sack of all time is Aaron Rodgers. You get to your favorite player, that's something you don't forget. So far, I plan on you getting many more, but so far, what has been your favorite sack?
It's funny because I watched all 63 and a half of your sacks in like 2
right.
So it's like I got a lot of favorites. I got the one I got a lot of favorite sacks I've seen from you. But it's so funny because I try to I'm just a person that I don't really look at the like sacks and stuff like that. Like get better and just get more and get more. But my probably favorite one is I believe it's Houston CJ Stroud last year because it was in the run and they ran the ball every single down. And I just told myself, like, I'm going to get a sack. I'm going to get a sack. And the fourth quarter came at 1 sack. So that was pretty cool because I swore they weren't going to throw. I think they threw the ball 6 times or 9 times, something like that. And
all it takes is one.
Yeah, one of those times I got a sack. So that's probably was the hardest but best sack I kind of remember. So.
And for all the fans, for all D linemen, this is what we believe. The best sack is the next one.
Yeah,
so I plan on the next one. I plan on Quinnen Williams getting plenty this season. Y'all check out the Jets. Go support College Color Day. Q, I appreciate you coming on, man.
Appreciate you.
Be blessed, stay safe. And me, Gerald, has picked the Jets to win that division. So go out there and get it, man. Appreciate you coming on.
Yes, I appreciate you.
And we're back. It's time. It is time to open up our mailbag. Appreciate you, fans. It's time. We get to read. We get to go over. I can't wait. I'm excited for this mailbag.
Let's get into it. Hey, if you want your questions answered, send your questions in to McCoy and Van Noy at yahoosports.com. If you want to jump the line, if you want VIP access, if you want first dibs or priority, send us in videos, send us in voice messages, and you can jump the line. We want to hear from you. Send the questions in. Some fans took our advice and they sent their questions in, so we're going to get into that right now. Killer, what you got?
Let's get it. So, David, we appreciate you, David. You know, too, I wish people would add like David from blah, 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 so we can like spice it up a little bit.
Tell us where you're
it's
from.
Just David. Come on. We got to know where you're from, maybe your age, you know, maybe something about you. Maybe you want to show some love to yourself. I don't know. But David, are there players on the team that you've never, ever spoken to before? Ooh, I actually have a good story real quick. All right. So I'm in Los Angeles, previous employment, and we had a kicker go down during the week on a Thursday. We ended up getting a new kicker and doing a kickoff on Friday in front of the team. Nobody knew their names, blah, 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 blah. And then come to the game, Sunday, we're playing the Falcons. Game gets to the end, and we need a game-winning field goal. Walk out the kicker, and I'm looking at my teammates like, this is even on, like, I did Wired Up. This went all over the internet. This broke the internet because I was like, yo, what's our kicker's name? And they were like, Dicker the kicker. I was like, what? Like, his name's like Dicker?
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're like, yeah, Dicker the kicker.
That's his real name.
Was like, I didn't know that was his real name. And so, yeah, that is someone who I never spoke to that was on my team.
Well, me, I try to make it a point with being.
Yeah, Gerald, you talk to everybody on the team.
Bro, I try
to
make it a point to where when people come into the building, it's like when people come in the building, it's like, I don't know this dude. I talk to everybody. So crazy story that just happened recently. My son switched football teams, and the head over the organization came to me and was like, Gerald, you won't even remember me, but Tampa brought me in for a tryout as a defensive lineman. You just so happened to be in the building that day, and none of the players spoke to me. One player came up and spoke to me, and the rest of the tryout guys, and it was you. So I always tried to make sure that if you're in the building, I'm going to at least speak to you, because it's like, I knew I was one of the faces of the franchise. So if I'm coming up and speaking to you, then it's going to make you a lot more comfortable when, you know, whether you're trying out or whether you just on the team, because it's hard to go to a team where you don't know nobody. So I tried to always make sure I spoke to everybody. Now, if the question was, do you remember all these people's names? Bro, they just brought 15 of y'all in yesterday. So I'm sorry if I don't remember y'all's names. So, but I did try to make sure I spoke to everybody. Now,
hey, it's hard to remember everybody's name on the team. It's even harder to remember like cameramen that are, you know, videotaping, but it's too many equipment. People. It's everybody.
It's a lot going on in the NFL season. And I always tell people, who you start with in the spring won't be there by summer. Who you start with in the summer won't be there by fall. Who you start with in the fall won't be there by winter and the end of the season. So I'm telling you right now, it's hard to remember everybody's name. So
great question.
Yeah, it's a great question. My question from Bill. Bill, I don't know where you're from. Don't know your last name. But Bill, this is, so anybody want to take credit for this? If your name is Bill, have at it. What do you do if you really have to use the restroom during a game? Well, it kind of depends. There's a couple different restrooms you can have to use. If it's number one, most of us get somebody working on the sideline, whether it's equipment guy, whether it is a trainer, whether it's a doctor or something. I know what I used to do is get an empty Gatorade bottle, take a knee. They would open up the equipment where the equipment doors was, so it was, you know, fanned out. He would stand here, I'd take a knee, handle my business, drop it in the trash, and I'm out of here. I didn't wash my hands. Where am I wash my hands at? No, we ain't use sanitizer.
You have your gloves on, but like, now you're passing germs on. That's
hey, man,
crazy.
Listen, all this sweating and bleeding and dirt and all this, you worry about, well, I washed my hands after I went to the bathroom in the middle of a football game. First off, I'm trying to go out and entertain you, so you worry about the wrong thing. So no, I didn't. Now, if it was number two, this is what you do. You pray that y'all are not on defense. You pray that the offense gets a little drive going, and you say, fellas, hold it down. I'll be right back. And you just got to go inside, do your business, and come back. Now, up in the booth, the announcer says, oh my gosh, Gerald's going into the locker room. Or it's a report of, is Gerald injured? What's going on? Nah, man, I just had to poop. Dang, mind your business. So that's what I would have to do if I had to go to the bathroom during the game. Killer, what you got?
Man, I'm on the same wavelength as you. I mean, I think maybe I've done it once in my career, and it was the Gatorade bottle route. Everybody huddles around.
Yeah.
You know, some teams do like the towels where everyone, you know, can mind their business, but everybody's trying to, you know, try to get in your business.
These kids got it good now. They got the huge blue tent that they can pull up. Just pull that up and go in there, do your thing, and walk out. Yeah.
Yeah. Number 2, I haven't done number 2 or, you know, no, I haven't done that. I try to take care of business before the game or after the game.
What's your next question?
Hopefully, have you done it?
What? Number 2?
No. Yeah.
Nah, I'll be good. I get all that out before the game. I poop like 3 times before every game. Like 3.
Oh.
Nervousness, food, whatever it is, I got to get that out because I can't be rushing the pass and take on a double team. And in Bucks, sometimes we wore white pants. I didn't need that.
Bubble guts?
I didn't need that going on. I had a teammate actually, if I told you what happened, when this happened, I would give it away. So I'm not going to say what happened.
I had a
teammate that after a play, he accidentally pooped on himself. And he had to go change his pants. So that's why you got to get it out before the game. I had
that happen too.
Yeah. What's your next question, Killer? What you got?
Mine are this one's from Matt. Sidelines are so big. How do you know when you're being called into the game? You know, Matt, that's a decent question. You know, I feel like now with 53 guys, I would say in preseason it's a lot harder because there's a lot more guys. But when you're in the 53, you're paying attention. You know, your name's being called. And I'll give you a little example. So let's say coaches prepare you as well. They tell you like, hey, what down it is, who's in, who's out. But the best example is like a special teams coach for punt. So he has an assistant. They usually tell everybody when it goes to third down, as soon as it goes to third down, that you need to get ready and you need to go to the 50-yard line to meet with him to go on the field so that he can count. By the time it's after the third down's done, he can send the punt team in. That's how they do it. So it's very good communication. Very rarely does it happen. It happens a little bit more miscommunication during preseason because there's so many guys, but very rarely it happens in the 53.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about that. I control my own rotation. I went in what I wanted. I came out what I wanted. I rarely got taken out the game. If I came out the game, it's because I was like, hey, man, come on in here.
I'm tired.
So that for me, it would... Gee, you want to come out? No, I'm good. You up this time? I tell the coach, hey, listen, let him start this one. I go in on third down. And if it was they got a couple first downs, all right, come on out. Or I would tell my teammate, hey, just be looking for me. I think I'm gonna do a couple and then come out this drive, catch my breath, and then I got the next 2 drives. You know, that's just kind of how I did it. So as far as knowing when the coach is calling you in, I ain't got nothing for you because I didn't experience that. I'm sorry. I gotta be real, man. We ain't come on the show to lie, right? I
know. I like it. You're running on the field until you're being told not to.
I didn't do that coach's rotation. I did the Gerald's rotation. I come out when I want. I stay in as long as I want. Well, you don't need a break.
Well, it paid off.
Yeah, I got it. I got this. So my question is from Jessica. Yeah. Jessica's all over. So if you want to claim this with Jessica, there you go. Can you hear specific fans when you're playing? Absolutely. It just depends on what stadium you're in. If you're in Buffalo, yes, you can hear. I remember one time we was in Buffalo.
Buffalo's
I think this was the last time we played Buffalo, not 2016, 2017, maybe 2017 or 2018. We was in Buffalo, and there was these fans talking extremely crazy to me, like
they talk greasy up there,
disrespectful stuff. And what those fans didn't know is Gerald actually saved you that day. You want to know why? Because you were saying that to me, and Gerald Sr. was sitting in the row right behind you, directly behind you. And he stood up and gave me are we doing this? And I said, let it go. And after the game, he was like, gee, I'm glad you said that because I was one more sentence away from letting them have it. I said, Pops, they're fans. That's what they do, whatever. I got a couple quick stories. We were coming out of the tunnel in Philly, and a fan was calling me all types of names and this and this, and you ain't this, and you, blah, blah, blah. And I turned to him, I said, hey, do you got to call me all that to root for your team? Like, do you got to disrespect me as a person to root for your team? You can't just tell me I suck. And he was like, I'm sorry, Gerald. I'm just rooting for I'm just being a fan. I'm like, see? And I told him,
he apologized.
You root for your team don't bother me. It's the disrespect for no reason. I was in Cleveland, the dog pound in the end zones, what they call it. They were talking crazy, this, and this. And there's a play, you can go look it up. I got a sack on like the second play of the game. I ran a stunt, ran the center over, and most people asked me what I was pointing at. When I stood up, I pointed because the dog pound was in that end zone. They was telling me I was trash, and I had just signed my new contract that like couple days before. They was telling you're not worth your contract. You this, you just suck. You this. So I pointed to them and I put my hand on my ear like, can't hear you. And then my last one is you can YouTube this. There was a kid at the New York Giants. He yelled at me and said, Gerald, if you touch Eli Manning like that again, I'm going to mess you up. And if you look at the video, I turned around like, what? Like, so you can hear these fans, especially in Tampa when it gets quiet, you can hear fans yelling. So yes, you can hear fans. Most of the time you tune it out, but on the sideline, you can't hear some things that the fans are saying.
My favorite example of this is from this last season from the Jets player, where there's a video of him pointing at different fans and then flipping them off back and saying, a derogatory word back to him. That's how you know you can hear fans, because he's over there going down the line for like maybe 3 minutes of just pointing people out like, you, flipping them off.
Yeah, so this is not
I love
this
that.
is not fans' motivation to go out and just start disrespecting players, by the way. Don't go out there yelling and just, Gerald and Kyle said they can hear us. I'm going to go say anything. That's not what that means. That's not what that means. Don't do that. Heckling is fine, but relax. Because some of us,
you never know which one you're getting.
All right, Killer, what you got?
All right, my last question is from Andrew. How well do you know certain refs over the years? Oof. This one, I mean, if you play a long time in the NFL, you know a lot of refs, and then refs get familiar with you as well. So, you know what refs pretty well. You know who's nice and who's kind of nice, Right. I want to say nice things.
Yeah, and you get to know them. And for me, for the most part, I try and stay cool with the refs. Something I always used to do with the refs before the game is a little joke I used to play with the refs. I used to go up to them and say, hey, you see all them D linemen over there with the same jersey as me? That's a pack of wild dogs, and they the best at what they do. So if they're not either getting a TFL or a sack or disrupting every play, they probably being held. So you probably should keep an eye on it. I used to do that. I used to say that to the refs all the time.
I usually tell like whoever like the tackles are, I'm like 77 is holding already. Yeah. That usually gets them to laugh.
And then obviously there's the clip that went out when I was on Hard Knocks of me testing the limits of what celebrations were too, derogatory or what you couldn't do with Mr. Ed Hockley. Ed Hockley is like a ref that stood out because it's like, why are you this swole out here as a referee? So
his son's a ref.
I know, and he's really good too. So, but Ed Hockley was my favorite ref. Obviously, I mean, he made his name from being the swollest ref we ever seen in history, but still. So yes, we do get to build a relationship with refs. We do remember refs over the years. It's best to get on their good side, make them laugh, offer them something. You want, hey, we got Gatorade over here. You remember in the Water Boy when he said, time out from the game, and he had brought the refs a water? I'm telling you, ref, because what happens is we get TV timeouts and timeouts. Our trainers run on the field and give us water. I used to say, hey, give him some water. Ask him, do he want Gatorade? Ask for water and tell him that's from Gerald. Like when you send, like when guys is trying to holler at a girl, or when you trying to do a business deal and you send a drink to somebody, you like, hey, tell them that's from me. That's what I used to do with the refs. Tell them that's from Gerald.
That's smart. I'm gonna have to do that this season. Give him some water, some Gatorade.
My man, I got you. Yes, that's what I used to do. But Killer, that was fun. Fans, we want to hear your questions. Send them in at McCoy and Van Noy at yahoosports.com. Again, VIPs, you want to jump the line. You want to be first through the door so you can get to see this immaculate club that is McCoy and Van Noy. Send in voice messages, send in videos. And like Killer said, give us your first and last name. Tell us where you're from. Tell us what team you represent. Tell us your favorite player. Tell us what college you represent. So if it ain't OU or it's one of our rivals, I can talk crazy to you. That's just better content for us, but it's all love for everybody.
You said something very, very that just is ringing in my ear right now.
Yeah.
We didn't even give a shout out. College football is back.
It is
GC.
back.
GM, sorry. I called you GC because Gerald Coy. Sorry. Gerald GM. I don't like GM. I'm just going to call you G.
Mac,
sorry.
Call me G, call me GC, because
back.
everybody call me GM. Call me GC, G-Mac, call me GC. I didn't even mind it because it's different. I kind of like it.
Yeah. G-Mac? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get some.
Yeah, we'll
but
get
anyway,
some going.
College football's back.
It is.
I know you watched it. I know you had to see it. What did you think of that Florida State game? I know you saw it.
Yeah, of course I watched it. And I tweeted about it because preseason rankings and all this, I tell people they don't matter. Everybody's killing OU, and OU ain't going to be good in the SEC and all this, but Texas is. Texas is. So we're crowning Texas. Nick Saban, I love you. Greatest college coach of all time. But you pick Texas to be in the SEC championship. But people
Sark is his prodigal son,
But
bro.
people say, oh, you can't handle the SEC. Okay. Little residualist history. Since 2009, you know how many...
we got them going.
Yeah, since 2009, you know how many 10-win seasons Texas has? A whopping 2. OU has.
They were good last year, though.
Yes, okay, and TCU was good 2 years ago. They went to the national championship. Their good year was actually better than Texas' good year. If we want to talk about a individual good year, they actually made it to the national championship. Did Texas? Oh, but Gerald, y'all didn't make it. Oh, but did Texas beat us? All right. Now, since 2009.
Anyway, what did you think of the Florida State game?
I think
in Dublin, Ireland.
I think that the game has to be played. The game has to be played. Forget all the rankings. When you show up, you represent your team. And when we step across those white lines, that number that they put on a piece of paper don't matter. We got to play the game. And I say that to say this. The games will be played. And it starts on Friday. University of Oklahoma. We are back. SEC. We are here. We'll see you soon. But before we see you, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Hear a little bit from our sponsors that keep us in the game. We'll be right back with McCoy and Van Noy. We are back, and this is our weekly segment, Drive to Win, presented by Toyota, official automotive partner of the NFL. Let's get it going. I'll get it started. Since I just went on this long rant about OU and our players and what we are, why not start with my first Drive to Win with Tony Jefferson, a guy who had retired, say, you know what, I'm coming out of retirement because I still got a little bit left in the tank. Speaking of Drive to Win, Tony Jefferson, 14 tackles, 1 sack, 2 passes deflected, and 2 interceptions. Oh, my gosh. Hey, Trey Lance. 5 picks, but 2 of them went to TJ, so thank you for at least 2 of those. Tony Jefferson, one of my players for a Drive to Win, and of course he went to the University of Oklahoma. Why else would he be balling? Killer, what you got?
Did. Love Tony. He was a scout for the Ravens last year. He saw me come off the couch and ball, and he said, you know what? I'll take the year off and come and ball after being a scout. Hell yeah, Tony J. Good dude, by the way. Anyways, my Drive to Win, Geno Smith. Not talked about very much, you know? Feel like he's kind of flown under the radar, but has had pretty good seasons as the starter up in Seattle. And guess what? He came out hot the other night against Cleveland. You little pass here, little pass there. Nice pass to DK Metcalf for the touchdown. He was supposed to play. Mike Mack said, hey, he's going to play a couple series. Nah, he ain't, because he showed what he's going to do in the season in one drive. So good. Shout out to Geno Smith.
We got all we need to see. All right, last week, I wasn't excited because they beat my Buccaneers, and I don't really talk about Florida teams unless it's the Bucks. But I'm going to talk about a couple quarterbacks from Duval, Trevor Lawrence and Mac Jones. Trevor Lawrence, 8 of 10, 92 yards and 2 touchdowns. Mighty Mac. 13
I think he secured
18,
that second backup spot. What you think?
13 of 18, 113 yards and a tub. Mac been balling all
or
preseason.
The Vikings going to trade for him?
Somebody need to do something. I've been saying, if I'm one of these teams that you got a Mac Jones out there, a Jameis Winston out there, I'm at least trading for them so I can have some type of firm security. If I'm Green Bay, I don't know if y'all watch Green Bay's backups, but if I'm Green Bay, I'm trading for a Mac Jones or a Jameis Winston, because if Jordan Love do not play all season, Lord, please help Green Bay. But those are our Drive to Wins, presented by Toyota, official automotive partner of the NFL. And now, Killer, the part we all hate.
Hate it.
We hate this part. We hate the commercial breaks because it takes the fans away from us. We
appreciate Toyota.
We appreciate Toyota, but the breaks, they just, And now we have to go into an extended break, which is the end of the show. This has been wonderful. Killer, I appreciate your sentiments at the beginning of the show. You guys, please come back and remember, if we want to hear from you. If you have any questions, send your questions in to McCoy Van Noy at yahoosports.com. Send in the questions, videos, voice messages. You get to skip the line. Send in the questions because we love answering. This is a family show. Me and Killer, we family. We want to invite y'all to our family. But it's been real. This has been episode 2. Killer, you got anything before we go?
First of all, you got to subscribe to us. You got to follow us. You got to tell your friend, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend.
Subscribe.
We need everybody in on this. You got to watch us on YouTube. I need you to subscribe again to us, follow us, and tell a friend, tell a friend. And we appreciate you. Thanks to Brett, John, and Addie. Shout out to you boys that are working overtime for us. We appreciate y'all. And we're back next week. We're going to come back. And guess what the best part is? It's the regular season. It is ready.
Football
and we are
is
ready to go.
officially back. And we'll see y'all next week. McCoy and Van Noy, we out.
Peace and love.